Time for business now with Giles Beckford, who should be standing by in our Wellington office. Come in, Giles. There you are. Hey, we've heard about the sale of Westland Dairy. It's not the first agricultural co-op to strike trouble in recent years. Is the co-op structure still relevant, do you think?
Well, that was a very good question that I raised. Certainly has been raised by the Westland sale and the excellent package that came from Maya Murray on the West Coast highlighted the issues that beset Westland. And there's a natural tension in there. And we've seen it in Silver Fern Farms as one example in the meat industry. We've seen it in Fonterra itself in years gone by. It's how do you maximise the returns to the shareholders, the suppliers who own the business, while you generate enough income and profits to keep some aside for the future. And that's where the rub comes. Westland didn't seem to get that right. The fingers pointed at management and the board for decisions that they've made in years gone past. I asked Craig Presland, who is the head of the New Zealand Co-op Association, which represent cooperative-style businesses in this country. He says it most certainly is relevant, and you might be a little bit surprised, but some of the bigger co-ops that operate in this country might attend. Pack and Save and New World supermarkets under the carpet, under the fabric of the foodstuffs, livestock improvement, Co-op Bank, SBS Bank. So some big size businesses there. Overall, they're worth about 45 to $50 billion worth of revenue a year, make up nearly a fifth of the economy. They are employing somewhere in the region of 50 to 60,000 people. So not an inconsiderable part of the economy, and certainly a structure that does matter. It does work. A point made by Mr. Preston to me is that, of course, these are people who have skin in the game, who own their businesses. They are committed to actually keeping their businesses in New Zealand, keeping the profits in this country, and quite often they take a long-term intergenerational point of view as well. All things that seem to have been lost slightly in the Western milk debate.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that some of those big names that you've just mentioned there were co-ops. Let's move on to questions around water company ownership. This is posing an interesting conundrum, isn't it?
Well, it is certainly, I suppose, given Auckland's weather today, it's very relevant. But the Productivity Commission, which is one of these quangos, as they call it, an advisory body of government. It looks at a particular sector of the economy. It comes up with some ideas for the future on them. This one is about local body financing, and it's singled in on a couple of issues. One is the need for local bodies and authorities to be able to raise more money. One of its suggestions is bed taxes, and we all know how vexed that can be in some areas, and certainly parts of the tourism industry don't like the prospect of it. But also water management. Who owns the water? How should it be managed? Now, most water in this country, of course, is managed by local bodies, and they, by and large, it's just part of your rates bill. But the Productivity Commission is suggesting that there is a need to study whether, in fact, water management should be privatised or part privatised, sold down. Now, I know this is an issue that's popped up in the Auckland mayoral race, with John Tamahere advocating such a thing. Phil Goff in the past 24 hours or so coming out strongly against it. But there's no doubt that local authorities who might get a bit strapped for cash, especially when they need to upgrade their infrastructure and climate change related projects in the years to come, might well be tempted to look at privatising or partly privatising their water management businesses. And from that point of view, the Productivity Commission document will provide some interesting reading. They're looking for feedback, and I'd encourage people to actually have a bit of a squiz through it and put some words and thoughts on paper. It will then put forward a final report which will go to the government. Possibly it may even be translated through into policy. We'll wait and see, although we have to say that the track record for Productivity Commission reports isn't that great.
And Giles, you've got some numbers for us, as always.
What else would we have but a record close for the local share market? Up a modest 14 points, 10,558, just to boggle you. The market has gained 21% or thereabouts so far this year. Of course, one could say, is it going to go higher? We'll just wait and see. But what goes up inevitably comes down in one shape or another. On the currency front, Kiwi trading at 67 US cents, 95.3 Aussie and 53.3 British pence.
Thanks, Giles. Good to talk to you. That's Giles Beckford, our business editor, with your business wrap for the day.